Well, guys, good evening and welcome back to this third cycle. Antes de arrancar, pues, con ya la continuación de la sesión, de que ustedes, pues, ya al principio, pues, hablaron de todos los parámetros con Laura Daniela, pues, obviamente, como darle la transición a esta segunda parte, por decirlo así. Primero, pues, también de mi parte, darle la bienvenida a Saray, quien es la nueva integrante de este grupo. Espero le vaya súper bien. Seguramente le va a gustar, espero mucho. Y bueno, hará parte de un grupo de trabajo bastante arduo y juicioso que se maneja aquí en este grupo. Gracias. Listo, Saray. Juiciosa, no espero nada diferente. La misma línea del grupo que tenemos acá. Y bueno, guys, de alguna manera, pues las dinámicas son un poquito diferentes entre cada sesión. Obviamente estamos integradas en los contenidos que cubrimos en cada una de las partes. Digamos que entre las cositas un poquito diferentes, por decirlo así, de mi parte, les comparto acá el link que los lleva a un drive compartido que viene siendo como la carpeta de materiales. Igual yo mañana les voy a enviar también un correo como para que también tengan guardado el link por el correo, perdón. Y bueno, digamos que por el momento no hay mucho realmente. Está un link que lo lleva a una carpeta que se llama Sessions, pero pues por el momento no hay nada, ya que eventualmente se va a subir el material que estemos trabajando en las sesiones. Entonces, el material que use en la sesión de hoy va a ir subido y digamos que las carpetas van apareciendo a medida que pues vamos avanzando en nuestras sesiones. En términos de materiales está el cronograma de actividades que pues yo sé que Daniela también lo compartió, simplemente es como por que haya también esa trazabilidad de mi parte, por decirlo así. También el ingreso a la plataforma de Moodle, el instructivo para acceder al sistema académico para lo de las notas en caso que aún no, y también el tutorial del Carinage, que insisto, estoy segura que ya ese material lo tienen ahí. Quizás lo único diferente que aún no está habilitado, solo a ojo, es como ese chart para eventualmente colocar cómo nos vamos a organizar para el speaking final. Sé que al día de hoy estar hablando del speaking final ya pareciera que los estoy como persiguiendo, obviamente no es mi intención, pero inevitablemente pues tenemos que organizarnos lo más posible y pues en aras de esa organización, pues yo coloco también esa información ahí. ¿Listo? Por el momento digamos que eso es lo que hay. Eventualmente cuando vayan avanzando las sesiones estará también como esas presentaciones compartidas que pues es un insumo que a mí me gusta mucho, ya que de alguna manera queda, perdón, la evidencia de ese trabajo que ustedes realizan en las sesiones. Quería decírselos en español para evitar de pronto alguna confusión, que el link se fue o alguna cosa. Ese tipo de cosas administrativas sí me gusta dejarlas como claras y pues evitar que haya alguna pregunta, un malentendido. No sé si tienen alguna pregunta, si de pronto les queda alguna pregunta en la primera parte y quieran solventar algo antes de iniciar como tal.
Profe, qué pena en mi caso.
Sí,
Para
señor.
acceder al libro necesito un código que ya vi todas las carpetas y no lo tengo por ningún lado.
Sara, yo ahorita se lo envío ahorita que tome asistencia. Ah, bueno, tengo que ver si ya tiene código asignado. Si no, no hay problema. Yo creo que por mucho en unos días, pero voy a revisar ya para ver si ya aparece acá en el sistema. Sí, de hecho ya se lo voy a enviar por mensaje aquí interno. Mm, Listo. Listo que ya lo encontré, ahora sí ya lo envío. ¿Listo, Sara?
Sí, profe, gracias.
Perfecto, listo. Sí, guys, entonces obviamente cualquier pregunta a través del correo, siempre como dejando nuevamente la palabra clave en ese tipo de proyectos que quede como la trazabilidad de que se hizo como un protocolo de cuando se van a resolver ese tipo de dudas. Okay, guys, let's start like we actually are interested in. You already started Unit 9 at the beginning, okay, of the session, and now we're going to move to the second part, but first I'm going to take attendance as usual. I was going to do that and then I forgot it. As usual, you already know, you say present and then we continue. Entonces, Saraya Acevedo.
Present.
Good. Andrés Álvarez. There you are in the chat. Sigo con Joely Ayala. No está todavía. Andrea Vaca.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Gilbert. Not here for the moment. John.
Who, teacher? John Carrero?
Sí, señor, you.
I am, here I am.
Okay, then good. Brian Miguel.
Here, teacher.
Okay. Stephanie Córdoba.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Silvia Alejandra.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Judy Lisette.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Diana Lisette.
Hi, teacher. I'm here.
Hello, hello, Diana. Luisa Fernanda Paredes.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Luisa Fernanda Pérez.
Present teacher.
Okay. Jordan Alexis? Not here for the moment. Mayra Juliet Pinzon?
Present teacher.
Okay. Mayra Alejandra Plata? That is not here. Not yet. Okay. Harold David?
Hi, teacher.
Hello. Angelica Stephanie?
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Angelica. Daniela Fernanda?
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Daniela. Ana María Velasco?
Hi, teacher. Present.
There you go. Jennifer Jimena?
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Jennifer. Natalie Joanna?
Here, teacher.
Very good. And Christian Joseph?
Present teacher.
Okay, Christian. So let's say that officially the ones that are absent are Joely, Gilbert, Jordan, and Mayra Plata. That would be, well, anyway, they still sorry have like 5 minutes left, just in case they arrive. Okay, guys, as I was telling you, we are going to continue with the topics to cover on the second part of our session. In this case, would be pages 88 and 89. Well, we're talking about, let's say, objects in general. In terms of the, let's say, linguistic part, today we continue with that aspect. In the first part, one more like about vocabulary. That, as you can imagine, means that we're going to practice grammar a little bit more. And in this case, we will be talking about relative causes. But before we move to that grammatical part, I'm going to ask you, let's put it like that, like a very, let's say, general question, but I'm not going to ask you like to send me the answers here to the chat. I'm going to use this Mentimeter app that I think that you already know that I really like to use it like a lot. There it is. The question says, so I can share the whole screen now. Think of 5 things that are common today, but which didn't exist or were uncommon 20 years ago. The idea is that you only name the object, okay? I'm not asking you to write like a whole description. The idea is to create, let's say, a word web, you know, a word cloud, sorry. And then if you start like typing more information than the required, it's going to, let's say, damage the word web that is supposed to be created. So we can talk about, or the idea is to talk about any object that you consider were not that common in the past or even didn't exist in the past. So just like to refresh your memory, notice that we only have the box to write the word. That's it. Once again, for the moment, I'm not asking you to provide like a whole description of the object. Just 5 things, okay? When you have the things, you click on submit, and that means that we are ready for this part. Did I send the link? Yes. So guys, do you have any question about the instruction while I set the timer? No questions? There is already one answer. Very good. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, okay? And then we will see how similar your answers are. Guys, 2 minutes starting now. 5 objects. Well, guys, time's up. Let's see some of your answers. We are supposed to be, there are supposed to be 19 answers. And for the moment, there are 14. Well, the list is huge, of course. Smartwatch and smartphone and electric cars. Probably we want to think of a kind of podium. Those three would be the winners. And among many other things, probably most of them related. Here we have headphones and also the wireless one. Talking about the cameras, a little bit more, let's say, technical. Talking about, well, I think that you meant the internet. Bluetooth headphones, the digital platforms, the scooters. Well, even talking about specs related to sports like the VAR. Let's see. Yeah, well, technically, well, actually, that is true. It didn't exist like 20 years ago. So, like, actually, good idea. Okay, very good, guys. Physical notebooks. Well, I'm wondering about this spelling. USBs, like in plural, virtual classes, absolutely. This is like the new thing, well, from some years to today, up to today. Okay, remember, guys, that we're working on our book. We're having a look at pages, for the moment, 88. And what precisely on that idea, we're going to read, let's say, some definitions, that are related to some of those things that we can say that they didn't exist 20 years ago. Let's also, well, be realistic, and we can clarify, or a kind of closure disclaimer, is that the name? A disclaimer, let's put it like that. Well, you know that the book is not from this year, so even there are some things that probably are actually 25 years old, but at the end of the day, we're talking about things that weren't that common probably in the 80s at the end of the day. So let's have a look at some words that we have in here. We have energy drink, personal trainer, YouTube clip, home recycling bin, Facebook wall, internet addict, password, blogger, app store, Wi-Fi hotspot, podcast, tattoo, sat-nav, and guideline. We're going to read the definitions. Of course, after we read them, the idea that you will be given, let's say, you will be given some minutes in order to decide which definition goes with which of the words, well, and phrases that we have in here, okay? Maybe in some cases, you will need to check online in order to know what the word means, like what the idea of that is about at the end of the day. But I'm sure that in most of them, you are already familiar with the information that is being given. So let's listen to your voices once again. Luisa, please, could you read the statements 1 and 2?
Me, teacher.
Luisa Paredes, yes.
Okay. First, it's a virtual shop which sells applications for phones, etc. ETC, I don't know. An app store. 2, it's a machine that gives you directions when you're driving.
That's it. For the moment, you don't have to give me the answer. We're just reading the statements. Ana Maria Velasco, could you read number 3 and 4, please?
It's a secret word which you use to access computers, banks, accounts, etc. 4, it's a makeup man put on their eyes.
That's it. Very good. Judy, please, could you read 5 and 6?
Number 5, it's a person who writes a kind of online diary for others to read. Number 6, it's a public area where people can connect their phones and computers to the internet.
That's it. Very good. Harold, please, 7 and 8.
Is a professional you hire to help you to improve your fitness?
And 8.
It's a person whose life is dominated by the internet.
Whose life? Very good. And we have number 9 and number 10, Angelica Sandoval.
It's a section of your social networking profile where people can leave message for you. And 10
Messages.
messages. Thank you, Chair.
Mhm.
It's a drink which is designed to give you more energy.
Design. That's it. Very good. So, well, guys, you already noticed. Well, probably it is a little bit obvious, but here we have all the words that you are supposed to use. Plus, there are 4 extra words. You have to be very careful with that part. So don't worry if you notice that there are some words left. It's because you don't need to use them. Specifically, based on the instruction, we have 4. And of course, the idea, again, it may sound like a little bit obvious, is that the word that you match actually makes sense. As I was telling you before we started reading the definitions, I'm sure that for you, most of them are pretty obvious in terms of the vocabulary that is being shared. Probably in other cases, you will need to look up for some words, and that's just more than fine. Anyway, I want to give you 5 minutes to make sure that you actually match all the statements with the words that we have here in the box. Guys, do you have any question about the instruction?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Natalie, tell me.
No, teacher. I understand.
Okay. You thought that I said understand. Yeah, you usually change the question. Like, do you understand or do you have questions? That can be a little bit confusing. Sarai, do you have the book or do you need me to adjust it so you can take a screenshot?
Please, the screenshot, teacher.
Okay, so let's just start like with the word, well, the instruction and the words first. Let me know when you're ready. I took it.
Yep.
And now with the statements. Okay. Well, I'm gonna like keep on the statements here displayed. As I was telling you, 5 minutes, and then we're going to check. 5 minutes starting. Remember, 4 are left. Well, guys, time's up. Did you finish? Do you have all the definitions matched with the corresponding word or phrase?
Yes, teacher. I finished.
Okay, Diana, very good. Let's start. Well, maybe let's start like leaving out the ones that we don't, well, we didn't use at the end of the day. In that order of ideas, Andres, which were the 4 words and or phrases that you didn't use from the list that we had here in our box? Let me see the chat. Okay, Andres, sorry about that. Well, let me ask Sarai. Which were the 4 ones that you didn't use?
YouTube clip,
That is one, very good.
tattoo,
Mhm.
podcast, home
Yeah.
recycling.
Home recycling, very good. Okay, that would be it. Thank you, Sarai. So those 4 ones were not presented in the different definitions that we had here in our, let's say, mini article. Let's put it like that. Okay, now we can decide which the ones from the ones, sorry, that are left, the definition and the word that they are related to. Let me ask Luisa Perez. What about which one goes for, we already had number 1. Which one goes for number 2?
Number 2 is sat nav.
Very good. Let me ask Brian, what about number 3?
Password is a secret word which you use to access computers, bank accounts.
That's it. What did you put for number 5, Christian?
In number 5, I use Blogger.
That's it. Very good. What about number 6, Daniela Fernanda?
Teacher, I put Wi-Fi hotspot.
Hotspot. That would be it. Diana, what about number 7?
Teacher is a personal trainer.
Trainer. That's it. Harold, what about number 9? Harold?
Sorry, teacher, it's a Facebook wall.
That's it. So which one is the one that we have left, Jennifer, which is number 10?
It's energy drink.
It's an energy drink. Very good. I'm sure that you were already like familiarized with the whole vocabulary that we had in here. And well, as I was telling you at the beginning of the session today, our part has, let's say, a very specific component talking about the grammatical part. And I'm sure that you already noticed while reading the statements that most of them had these, let's say, different, for the moment, let's say, words that were giving us extra information about the different items that we were, let's say, describing in each of the definitions. Well, actually, this is not like a surprise for you based on the title of today's unit. And we are talking about relative clauses. I know that sometimes the names are a little bit not that interesting, but at the end of the day, that's the name of the component that we're going to review today, because I know that this is not new information for you. Once again, the title is relative clauses. When we're talking about relative clauses, basically, we're talking about like an extra sentences that is giving us extra information about someone or something. Once again, may sound like an obvious thing. Could be a person, could be a thing. When we say thing, could be a situation, a place, a moment in your life, an object or a possession that you have, could be about anything. So a little bit different from our sentences of the book, but pretty much the same idea. It says the woman who lives next door works in a bank. These are the flights that have been canceled. So notice that this is the information that we are adding here is helping us to enrich whatever topic or whatever context we are talking about. Now, what is going to be like the connection of the relative clauses? We are talking about very like basic words that probably you already remember them from relative pronouns. And of course, each of them are connected based on the topic that we are talking about. We have who, we have which, that, when, where, or whose, right? Again, to refresh our memory. Who, what is it referring to when we use who? What is that about?
A person that do something or no, something that, yes.
Okay, a person, even people, of course, Daniela says that who do or does, if it is singular something. What about which? How do you remember
There
guys?
are a lot of options and you refer some case about different options.
Okay, well, that would be like the definition when we're using it like for questions, like, which is your favorite perfume?
Exactly.
And there is like a list of perfumes to choose. Okay.
Because there are a lot of options, so you have to choose one of them.
Okay, let's keep that definition in mind. We'll see if that is the definition that we're going to use tonight. Guys, what about that? What do you remember about that one? If you don't remember for the moment, no problem, that we're going to refresh our memory in a moment.
It's for singular things that are near, but that you are like, how do you say señalar?
Pointing.
Pointing, exactly. But it's one thing and it's close to you.
Well, actually,
no,
it's far.
It's far, see, because it's this, it's far.
Okay, that's the definition for the pronoun. Okay, we have when, talking about a moment. We have where, talking about a place. And finally, guys, what about whose? Do you remember what whose is about? Notice that it is different from who, that or Daniela already like refreshed our memory that we're talking about a person or a group of people. What about whose? Do you remember this one?
Something that is mine or my property, like that.
Okay, not only the object, but asking who the owner is, you know? Basically, in that case, what we care about is like the possession. As Sylvia was already saying, it's related to possession. Very good. So there are some aspects that we can connect with the relative pronouns, but there are some aspects that we have, let's say, to separate from it, because now we're talking about complete statements that are giving us extra information. So let's say to connect or to guide once again the idea, as you already know, who is for people or for one person. Of course, we can talk about it in singular. What is going to be the difference in this case? That is not going to be that demonstrative pronoun to tell us the distance of something. In this case, that can be a word to replace who. I can say, she's the woman who cuts my hair, or even she's the woman that cuts my hair. In this case, the meaning, so as I was telling you, we separated a little bit from the definition that we have of the demonstrative. In this case, and I'm going to tell you in Spanish, I'm sorry, means que, no eso, okay? How do we know that the meaning changes? Of course, we need the context and we need to see the word inside the sentence. Notice that in this case, well, the second statement in particular, it's not talking about the distance of something. So the meaning of eso doesn't work in here. Now the meaning that we need in here is more connected to who. Even in that case, in Spanish, we use it a little bit more. Daniela was saying, which we use it when we're talking about different possibilities, and that is correct, of course. When we're talking about questions, as I was telling you, which is your favorite perfume? Blah, 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 blah. That would be it. But in this case, we're going to use which when we are talking about objects. For example, I'm going to read the second sentence. It says, the laptop that I bought last week has started making a strange noise. Once again, this that means que, It is not talking about the distance. And in this case, which is a little bit similar to the one that we know in the questions. But notice that we're using it in the middle to connect the sentences. You know that in English, we always have like typical differences. One which would be a little bit more formal, and that would be a little bit more informal. However, that is a little bit more common. At the end of the day, you choose what you consider is more relevant for the situation. Probably if you're chatting, you use that. But if you are, I don't know, creating a kind of report or a very, let's say, formal text, it would be more appropriate to use who or which. But once again, any of the two possibilities work, okay? I'm gonna make a pause here for the moment. So, relative clauses, basically statements that we use to add extra information about someone or something. The connection about that someone or something would be these different words. Of course, we have to decide if we're talking about a person, we use who or that. If we're talking about an object or objects, which or that. And those are like the ones that we have, let's say, refresh our memory about for the moment. Do you have questions, guys, for the moment? We still have two more things to see. But for the moment, I want to ask you if up to this slide in particular, you have any question. Yes, Angelica, tell me. I'm going to drink some water while you ask the question.
Teacher, in the case of which and that, we can choose indifferent to write the relative clauses.
Yes, I mean, you choose the one that you consider fits more the tone of your idea. I don't know, maybe that's your question, Angelica. I was telling you, it's a little bit more informal, a little bit more relaxed, that it's fine. But it is an academic text, like in that context that we know that it is kind of, I wouldn't say complicated, but demanding. The most appropriate would be which. Is that Angelica, or maybe you are asking me about something else?
Yes. O sea, yo estaba preguntando que son indiferentes el uso. Sorry por el español. Lo siento, profe.
Don't worry. No, no, entonces sí le contesté bien. Yes, like at the end of the day, it's your decision. The context, of course, we need context, but okay, no, entonces good. Okay, Angelica. Yeah, don't worry. I know that, especially at this time, we're a little bit tired and like to connect the ideas becomes a little bit more complicated. And I really, really appreciate your efforts. So, well, hopefully we don't need to use that much of Spanish, but I get that we get that a little bit tired. In some cases, you're gonna get some tangled. Of course, those are the most common because we're talking about like objects in general, people in general. That would be like the most general and common to be used. But as we already saw at the beginning, we have the other ones to be used to be more specific. Once again, it may sound obvious, but we have when we were talking about time, we have where when we're talking about places, we have whose when we're talking about the person that has a possession of something. Like summer is the season when I'm happiest. I'm talking about a moment in time. That's the stadium where Real Madrid plays. Of course, just a parenthesis, because they're talking about like the team, that is why it doesn't have an S. We're talking about, of course, that point in geography. And sorry, he's a musician whose albums have sold millions. So we're talking about like a person that has a possession in particular. So once again, we use the ones like taking into account the situation. Of course, here we have the most common ones. Now, probably you also already noticed. Let me go back. I'm sharing just the, no, I'm sharing the whole thing. Probably you also noticed that there were some cases that we didn't use the relative pronoun, like statement number 4. It was, it's makeup men put on their eyes, and also number 7. It's a professional you hire to help you to improve your fitness. There are some cases that we don't really to use the relative pronoun. Of course, we need to analyze the whole sentence. If we only look at one word, it would be, let's say, a way to complicate our lives. And as let's say the explanation says, the idea at the end of the day is that we're going to add a second sentence. That is the idea of the relative clause, extra information to enrich the original information that I have. Notice that in this case, that second sentence already has, for the moment, a pronoun. Could be a subject, could be the name of a person. The other day we were refreshing our memory with the pronouns and third person and all that stuff. It says the assistant we met was really kind. Notice that we already have the information. I don't need to use the relative pronoun. For the moment, what we have in here is just a pronoun, okay? It says we can usually leave it out if it is followed by a verb. The assistant that helped us was really kind. Notice that in this case, we have that and then we have the verb. I can't eliminate it. In this case, before the verb, I had for the moment a pronoun, but remember, could be the name of a person, could be any noun. So I don't need to put it because let's say that thanks to this word, it's okay that the second statement already complementing the information from the previous one. But in this case, I can't eliminate it because then let's say like the verb would be alone. And in English, talking about like the typical grammatical structure, it is like a very, let's say, a strict thing that everything has to be in place. So I can't leave a verb alone in a regular sentence. That is why in some cases we can eliminate it. I'm going back to these examples. In this case, notice that here we had the word men. So the second sentence is complete. Like, let's go back to maybe primary school. We have the subject, we have the verb, and we have the complement. And also in the case of 7, we have the pronoun and the complete statement with the subject, with the verb, and the complement. We can't separate it, okay? That is why in some cases we can eliminate it. But once again, we have to analyze the whole statement to see. We have the information, then I can eliminate it. The verb would be alone, I can't eliminate it, okay? So we need to analyze everything. Is clear this part? Anyway, we are going to practice, but for the moment with information, do you have any question? Let me see, maybe something on the chat. For the moment. Okay. Well, as usual, the best way is to practice. You know, I can like lecture you with this topic the whole night, which wouldn't be that nice. But the best moment is when we actually put this into practice. We're gonna, let's say, do it in a kind of different way, okay? You will play a game, but in this case, I'm gonna send you to play in pairs, you know? Well, probably in groups of 3, because I know that some of you are maybe having problems with connection, and I don't want you to suffer like one person trying to do the exercise while the other person probably taking more time than expected doing the activity. The idea is this. You have to unjumble the words. Guys, do you remember the meaning of unjumble? While I go to the link.
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
A synonym, maybe, guys.
Scramble?
Like can scramble or to like reorganize. That would be the idea.
Oh, okay.
Very good. Well, it had some music. I don't need effects. Okay, so the idea is that you have the words all disorganized. You have to put them in order. Okay. Let me make an adjustment because I changed the link. But anyway, I'm gonna use this as an example before I send you. So you take it, you have to move the word. Let's put it like that. If it is correct, it gives you like a plus and then you can continue. You have to be very careful with the number of movements because then there is a moment, you know, that you don't have more movements and then you can't change the word. Okay. You take it and careful with the line, you know, where the line is placed is where you're going to actually, let's say, drop the word in order to be organized. Let's imagine that I take it and I think that maybe because it's already like here, it's going to be correct and I drop it. Then I'm going to see that there are fewer movements to continue. So we have to be very careful to place it where the line is, okay? Like in this part as you see the line and then you see the points, okay? If you take more movements, then you can't complete the sentence and then let's say that I'm gonna put like in this and then I'm doing crazy things. It is incorrect. So I can't continue, then I have to move to the next one, okay? So we have to be very careful in order like to get the proper points. Do you have any question, guys, before I actually check the link?
No,
It's clear.
Okay, yeah, let me see because I remember that I made an adjustment. Give me a second, I'll be back. The link that I had in the PowerPoint because I had changed the game that I found, but I already have it. Don't worry. I'm gonna show you like the real one. That one that I showed you anyway, well, that is like how the, let's say the page works, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much the same idea. It's very good. And because I remember that, no, I'm not gonna ask you to organize 10 sentences. 10 is too much and I wanna cover like more aspects tonight. So I reduce it to 7 and shorter sentences. This is actually the one, okay? So the link that I have in here, well, anyway, I'm gonna change it because then when I upload the material, I want you to play the proper game, not the one that I had changed. Actually, this is the one. So guys, it's official now. I'm gonna send you the proper link. Remember to write your names. I'm gonna show you here. This is already the one, yes. So it says relative clauses. Well, here I have my, you put your names and then you start organizing the statements. It's a kind of a game, you know, we are not doing it like in the, let's say the regular way, because it is like similar to a Kahoot, the ones that finish first and with the, of course, that means that you have the correct answers. And with a good time frame would be like the ones to be the winners in the podium, okay? Remember, be careful with the number of movements. That's all that I have to say. So I'm gonna create the rooms. I haven't sent the link, of course. I was telling you that around 2 or 3 participants to make sure that in case there is a problem with connection, you can work properly. Okay, so first I'm gonna send you the link. And now, let me turn this off for a moment. Esto tan enredado, qué estrés. Sí, eso es. Ay, Dios mío. Listo, ahora sí. I was getting angry, but no. Officially the groups. Guys, in total, you're going to have 8 minutes, okay? Sí, tengo un micrófono, entonces. Tomamos ese silencio como que, okay, let's begin.
Teacher, I have a
Señora.
question.
I sent
In,
it. Sorry. Tell me fast.
not teacher. In the part that we have put our name, we put the 3 names?
Yes,
Or...
the 2 or 3
Okay.
names. Yes,
Okay, teacher. Okay, teacher. Thank you.
okay. Of course, all the answers were done correctly. Well, all the statements, let's use the proper words. All the statements, all the words were enjambled correctly in order to create that complete statement. And as you already noticed, like that was basically the idea of this exercise, to use the relative pronouns in the different combinations that we can have. Let me refresh the page. So the absolute winners, very fast, was well, in this case it was more it was because of the score. Luisa, Harold, and Angelica, you had 90 points. In this case, you took more time. On second place, although you were faster, you had fewer points than what was originally said. Diana Lisette and Ana Maria. Well, I don't think that, or I don't know if Christian was working by himself. In your case, that would be the third part, the third place in the podium. Let's see the statement. Well, all of them were correct, but just like to wrap up the activity that you were doing. The guys that were the winners, of course, congrats. This was the answer key. And as I was telling you, probably we have here the most common combination. Notice that all the statements are correct, of course, that you can change, for example, the ones that have who, you can use it with that. The ones that have that, talking about, for example, objects, can be changed with which, you know, but as Angelica was already asking, at the end of the day, you use whatever you consider relevant, of course, depending on the context, if it is formal or informal. Guys, to wrap up this information or this topic about relative clauses, that would be page still 88, the exercise that says practice 1, and it is until this one. We will move to talk about vocabulary. It's pretty simple. It says complete the definitions below with a word from the box and the correct relative pronoun. We have here 5 definitions, a little bit similar to the ones that we read at the beginning of the session. Of course, the idea that you put the word that corresponds. As you can imagine, you won't use all the words that we have here in this box. And then on the second part, you have to decide the type of pronoun to be used, okay? Could be that we're talking about a person, that we're talking about a place. Maybe we think that the safe way out would be to put that, but of course, not in all cases would be like the best choice, you know, like we have like a good number of pronouns. Why to use that all the time? If we're talking about a place, let's use where, you know. If we are talking about, again, something, let's start using which and not only that all the time. I know that you know, of course, but let's make sure that we can use, in this case, all the different relative pronouns to complete the sentences. Guys, did you have any questions about this exercise before we move to a different thing? While I set up the timer. No questions? Once again, I take the silence as you don't have questions. Yes?
It's only complete the sentence part of the box.
Well, your sound is not really good, Angelica, but yes, the idea that the first part, the first line, you use it with this word. You complete it with any of these words, okay? And the second line would be with one of the relative pronouns, who, which, that, whose, where, when, okay? So the first part with this vocabulary, the second part with the pronouns, okay?
Thank you, teacher.
Well, Angelica, guys, 4 minutes, starting now. In this case, the idea was to take the words from this list, of course, only 5 from this like very big list, and to complete with the corresponding relative pronoun. Of course, there are some possibilities in terms of using that. In other cases, well, as I was telling you, let's keep it simple. Why not? And let's use the one that it is supposed to be used. What did you use, Andres? Yes, you raise your hand.
Okay, I want to read.
Okay, perfect. Good. Let's begin with number 1.
Okay, a photocopier is a machine that makes copies of documents.
That's it. Very good. The other possibility would be which. Nice. Let's read number 2. John, please.
Sorry. Teacher, I cannot see my, let me see here. Maybe this is a bodyguard. A bodyguard is a person who protects important people from being attacked.
Attacked. That's it. Very good. Andrea, what about number 3?
Number 3, I don't know how to say that word. Is laundry, a laundry?
Laundrette.
A laundry is a place with washing machines where you can wash your clothes.
That's it. Very good. Mayra Pinzon, what about number 4?
Plumber is a person whose job is to maintain central heating, taps, etc.
You said who?
Yeah, teacher, is a person whose job is to maintain central.
But you know,
what is that?
No, either who or that. Because notice that in the second part, we are talking about not the person, but what the person has to do. Like something that is part of him. Let's put it like that. Oops, sorry. Maybe Diana has a different answer.
Teacher, what is? Who? Who knows?
He's not who, but Diana was answering, but her voice is like far away, Diana.
Sorry, teacher. A plumber is a person whose job is to maintain central heating, taps, etc.
Would be whose. Very good. As I was telling you, in this case, we're talking about something that he has, not something that he is. If we were talking about something that he is, we were using who or that. And I can say, teacher, I can say a photocopier is a machine makes copies of documents. No, Angelica, because notice that the first part, a photocopier is a machine, is the beginning of the sentence. And the second part, this you said makes copies of machine, that makes, let's say that doesn't have a subject. We need something to, let's say, help it, like to accompany it. That is why we have to use, in this case, that or which. Remember that, let me go back here to the presentation, that would be like the, okay. That would be like the, let's say, the golden rule to determine if we can eliminate it or not. And in this case, we can't because make is alone. It's different if we had a subject before make, then we could eliminate it. But of course, in this sentence, well, because of the idea that is being presented, we can just like invent something else to make it work. So remember, the idea of eliminating it is because we have extra help, let's put it like that. Like a subject could be a pronoun or the name of a person or whatever before the verb. And as I was telling you here, make doesn't have something before, so we have to use it, okay? Different if we say a photocopier is a machine people use every day. I'm going to say something crazy. Well, not that crazy, but it's kind of accurate. So notice that I say people use. So people is actually being the one that is helping the verb. So I could eliminate it. But in that example in particular, we can't. It's my idea clear, Angelica? Okay. I hope. We haven't finished. We still have number 5 before we go to the second and final part of the session. I'm going to ask Brian.
Yes, teacher, the 5.
Yes.
A vacuum cleaner is a machine that you use to clean floors and carpets.
That's it. And we already know that the possibility is going to be which. Well, before we go to this part, remember that you are already in the virtual campus. Yes? Back.
Teacher, sorry. Could you explain again why we use the home in the number 4, please?
Sure, Stephanie. No, Diana, sorry. In the case, let me put the answers. I guess that, well, they are not here. In the case of number 4, notice that the description that we have is not about the person, but it is about the job that he has. Differently, we say a plumber is a person who helps you repair your house, you know, but notice that the information that we have here as extra information is about the job, not the person. That is why we can't use who. We have to use whose. Yes, Diana.
Teacher, it wasn't me. I think it was Angelica.
Sorry. I saw the 2 microphones and I got confused. Let me see the chat. Number 3. It was a laundrette is a place with washing machines where you can wash your clothes. Notice that in this case, we are talking about, it is less, let's say, tricky compared probably to the 4th one. We have the word place, so we can immediately, let's say, choose where. Yes, Lisa, welcome. Yeah, guys, what I was going to tell you is that although you're in the virtual campus, well, of course, the only person that is still probably waiting to be included is Sarai, because you are like the new member. In the presentation that I'm going to share with you tonight, I included 3 more links for you to practice this topic in particular. In this case, it's a Kahoot, and the other ones are a little bit more grammatical. Let's put it like that. But anyway, it's a way to practice. Once again, I know that you have your activities in the virtual campus, but just in case you want to practice a little bit more, there you will find 3 more exercises. Well, guys, I was sending you like the second and kind of final part of our session, what related to vocabulary. We continue with the line of talking about objects like in general, and in this cases, how gadgets work. What would be like your own personal definition of gadgets, Christian? How would you define this word, gadgets?
I don't know, maybe certain type of technology that is useful for things at the normal life, at the everyday.
Okay, very good. That is actually a pretty nice definition, Christian. Thank you very much. Let's have a look at the question that we have here in number 1. Of course, this first exercise is about your personal experience. I'm going to ask, well, Stephanie, could you read this first question?
Which of the gadgets in the box do you want? Do they ever go wrong?
Could you read also the different gadgets that we have here in the, let's call it box, please?
A DVD player, a games console, a tablet computer, a vacuum cleaner, a digital camera, an MP3 player, a touch screen phone, an electric cooker, a laptop, a dishwasher, a a photocopier.
That's it. Very good. Just two things, digital and touch for the pronunciation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, I'm going to give you just 3 minutes. Once again, we are just like brainstorming ideas. Which of these do you have, you know, like are part of your possessions? And do they ever go wrong? Probably you have a particular experience when you had a problem, you know, with any of the gadgets and you would like to share like in very general, in a very general idea how it went wrong, and also probably talking about that solution that you had to conduct to make it work again would be nice. So which ones do you have and how bad they can be in some cases? As I was telling you, 3 minutes for you to brainstorm, and then I'm gonna ask you 4 of you guys, probably volunteers, or maybe I choose from the chat, or well, from the list of participants as well. Well, guys, 3 minutes. Let's see. Okay, guys, time's up. So we, sorry, which 4 participants would like to share their insights? If you want to volunteer, just raise your hand, of course, using Zoom application or something. Yeah, I'm really tired. Or maybe I choose. You tell me. Let's see. Okay. Who's the lucky one? Angelica. Okay. Thank you.
Teacher, I have a laptop computer an MP3 player.
Okay.
It's very old, but it's nice.
But it what?
What?
You
Sorry.
said it's very old, but it.
But it's okay, and
Okay.
it's functional.
It's functional. Okay. Do they ever go wrong?
No, never.
Never? You know, that is a kind of thing with your microphone, maybe like probably it's touching something because it sounds like, I don't know. Just wanted to tell you. So those three gadgets, actually to use the proper name, have been working like perfectly during this time that you have had them.
Yeah, only my laptop. I have a problem with this. And maybe 2 years ago, I was working in that, and suddenly it stopped. It stopped working. So I tried to turn on, but it didn't work. So I had to llevar.
Take.
I have to.
To take it? You had to take it?
Take it to a repair. Basically, my I can't remember this code.
The hard drive?
Hard drive, sorry. It was diet, so I
had diet.
All information and my tips.
Oh my God. Okay, those are bad news. Well, Angelica, thank you for your experience. Unfortunately, I guess that at some point we have been victims of that situation, that after that we learn, you know, from the mistakes. And we have like a copy or something, but usually the first time is the most difficult one. But Angelica, thank you for sharing your experience.
Yeah.
Okay, second person out of 4, a volunteer, or maybe I choose the person. Natalie, thank you.
Well, teacher, I own a games console. It's a Wii, and they ever go wrong, but never go bueno. But now with actually TV,
the
we
current
can use
TV.
it. Now, yes, smart TV. You can use it without a special connector, because then the newest TVs of right now, smart TVs, it's not compatible with the Wii.
Ah, okay.
So we can use it.
Ah, okay.
We can use it right now.
Ah, okay. Those are bad news. So you have to, so you have like to get let's say like a special like plugin or something to make it work?
Yes. Or you can use it.
Ah, okay. Mario says that play Mario Kart. Okay. Thank you, Brian. I was in Mario. Brian says, well, he is giving you some tech advice just in case in the chat. So Natalia, maybe in the future you can make it work. Okay. Thank you, Natalia. Third, sorry. Who would it be? I'm going to choose then. Okay. Well, I guess I have already heard your voices, but in this case, it would be nice to listen to Sylvia.
Well, I have an MP3 player.
Okay.
But I haven't used it for many years. Not because go wrong or was damaged. But after I having a smartphone, there are so many differences between both, so I stopped using it.
Okay, so technically, maybe it continues like working
Yeah,
up to
but
this day.
is lento.
It's slow? It is slow?
Yeah.
Okay, well, of course. Brian, you would be number 4. Tell me. Well, tell us.
Sure, I have an old iPhone, the iPhone 6, and it runs very slow, and you cannot update with the newest applications, but I conserved it because it have a good camera, and I used to take photos.
Okay. Sorry, Brian, I interrupted you. Oh, that would be it. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Well, you were talking about different situations. Of course, everybody has a different experience, and it is going to be like related to what we are going to do on the next part. That is basically going to be how we finish our session. We're going to move to a listening exercise. I'm going to read in this case the instruction for you. It says, listen to 4 conversations and answer the questions. Number 1, which gadget in exercise number 1 is each person talking about? So you will notice that on the 4, let's say, moments of interaction, they are separated conversations. They are talking about one of these gadgets, well, on each conversation. At the end, talking about like 4 different gadgets. And second, which words and phrases tell you this? Like, how do you recognize that they are talking about that gadget in particular? Okay, I'm going to say something crazy. Maybe in the conversation, you listen that the person says that needs to print every day, that in some cases takes a lot of time and ink for the documents. So probably in those cases, we can say, well, I was thinking about a printer, but then there was a photocopier. So make sure that you also get the information or the sentences that are actually giving us that hint of which gadget they are talking about, okay? In this case, we're gonna listen only twice. Remember, the gadgets they are talking about, the gadgets are taken from this list. And second, those expressions, like from, let's say, a kind of description that is being made, that help us to recognize the gadget that they are talking about, okay? Guys, is the instruction clear? Because it's a listening. I hope that the information is crystal clear. But do you have any question, Mabin?
No, teacher, it's clear.
Okay, I'm going to share sound. Let's listen twice.
Unit 9, recording 1. 1.
They told me it was the very latest model, but I've had nothing but trouble with it over the last week. It's driving me mad, to be honest, because I need to use it, you know, every day.
So what's the problem exactly?
Well, it just crashes all the time without warning. The screen just freezes. I've no idea why. And I have to restart it, and I keep losing my work, losing things I've done. It's so frustrating.
That's not good, is it? I suppose you've tried reinstalling the software?
Yeah, but it didn't make any difference.
You should take it back to the shop then. Definitely.
2. And you should all be aware of a few basic safety measures. Firstly, if some paper gets stuck or the machine breaks down at any time, don't just leave it and hope someone else will fix it. Switch the machine off here at the wall. There's no need to unplug it, just switch it off here, and you open it here by holding down this button here. Now, it can get extremely hot inside, especially if you're making a large number of copies, so do take care you don't touch anything. Oh, and by the way, if you ever see smoke coming out of it, don't... 3. Is that new?
Yeah,
I just got it the other day. Nice, isn't it? I'm just choosing a ringtone.
Can I have a look?
Yeah, it's so easy to use. You just touch the icons with your finger.
Cool.
Then you just scroll down the menu with your finger like this.
And so does that icon mean that you need to recharge the battery?
Yeah, that's right. The battery is a bit low at the moment.
4.
Oh dear. Is this new? I've never seen one like this before.
Don't worry, Gran. It's switched on and the film's in. When you're ready to watch it, you just press the OK button here.
Oh yes, I see. Well, that's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really easy. And if you want to pause it for any reason, then just press this button here.
I'll do my best. But if it doesn't work for me, you'll be in the other room, won't you?
Yes, Gran, I'll be in the other room.
Let's listen again. Remember that for this exercise in particular, it's the second time. The gadget and the expressions that help you recognize the gadget they were talking about.
Unit 9, Recording 1. 1.
They told me it was the very latest model, but I've had nothing but trouble with it over the last week. It's driving me mad, to be honest, because I need to use it, every day.
So what's the problem exactly?
Well, it just crashes all the time without warning. The screen just freezes. I've no idea why. And I have to restart it, and I keep losing my work, losing things I've done. It's so frustrating.
That's not good, is it? I suppose you've tried reinstalling the software?
Yeah, but it didn't make any difference.
You should take it back to the shop then. Definitely.
2. And you should all be aware of a few basic safety measures. Firstly, if some paper gets stuck or the machine breaks down at any time, don't just leave it and hope someone else will fix it. Switch the machine off here at the wall. There's no need to unplug it. Just switch it off here and you open it here by holding down this button here. Now, it can get extremely hot inside, especially if you're making a large number of copies, so do take care you don't touch anything. Oh, and by the way, if you ever see smoke coming out of it, don't...
3. Is that new?
Yeah, I just got it the other day. Nice, isn't it? I'm just choosing a ringtone.
Can I have a look?
Yeah, it's so easy to use. You just touch the icons with your finger.
Cool.
Then you just scroll down the menu with your finger like this.
And so does that icon mean that you need to recharge the battery?
Yeah, that's right. The battery is a bit low at the moment.
4.
Oh dear. Is this new? I've never seen one like this before.
Don't worry, Gran. It's switched on and the film's in. When you're ready to watch it, you just press the OK button here.
Oh yes, I see. Well, that's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really easy. And if you want to pause it for any reason, then just press this button here.
I'll do my best. But if it doesn't work for me, you'll be in the other room, won't you?
Yes, Gran, I'll be in the other room.
Okay. Let me move this a little bit. So, let's have a look at our answers. Luisa Fernanda, the first conversation out of the 4, which was the gadget that they were what he was talking about. Luisa Fernanda Paredes, sorry.
Yes, teacher, I'm not sure, but I think maybe a laptop or a tablet computer because he talks about he use every day, that is important to him, that the laptop turned off, I get it, and he losing their job, what it have done. So I think that maybe both, maybe one of them, because tablet computer works to work too in a laptop.
You know, actually, that's a good point. Listen, I agree with you now. Sarai, do you agree or disagree? Do you have similar or different answer?
I have the same answer.
Okay, yeah, guys, very good. Actually, both of them would be nice. You know, like, actually, the answer I had was like the computer, but of course the laptop works as well in terms of the different, let's say, problems that they were describing, right? As Luisa was already pointing out. Very good. So for the first one, in conclusion, could be the laptop or the tablet computer. Let's have a look at the second conversation. Diana, which gadget they were talking about?
They talk about a photocopier.
Okay.
He mentions that maybe sometime paper gets stuck, and maybe if it is hard inside, it's because you're making a lot of number of copies.
Okay. Any other idea that you think you can add, or you have the same, Jennifer Jimena?
Yes, I agree. Also, they explain that if you want to take a large amount of copies and don't touch anything of the photocopier.
Absolutely. And then at the end, he says, and if you see a smoke, and then the conversation like fades away, but that would be like really terrible to like experience a situation like that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. What do you have in this case for number 3, John? John?
Hello, teacher. I'm sorry. I didn't answer that question because I couldn't get it.
Okay, John, that's okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Don't worry. Let me ask then Christian, which is the third gadget they are describing?
I answered the third gadget is a cell phone, a touch screen phone.
Okay. Which expressions led you to choose that one?
Because they talk about the icon. You can touch the icon, scroll down, up, the icon that shows you the level of the battery. And it's very easy to use. So practically it's a cell phone.
That would be the one. Something to add, Natalie?
Yes, teacher.
What would you add? Yes.
Oh, I think a dishwasher.
Okay, no, but sorry, Natalie, I was asking you, like, besides the comments that Christian shared, if you had something extra to add about the, sorry, touch screen phone.
No, teacher.
That was pretty much the same. Okay, wait, don't worry, that would be it. And let me see the chat very quickly. Talking about the ringtones as well. Very good. And the final one, Ana Maria, which is the final gadget they are talking about?
I'm not sure. Maybe dishwasher or digital camera.
You said the dishwasher, or which was the other possibility that you said?
I have two more. Digital camera or vacuum cleaner.
Okay. Okay, those look like gadgets from different corners. And you know, unfortunately, it's not any of them. Let me ask Daniela. Probably she can help us with the final gadget to finish the session.
Teacher, okay. Camera?
No.
A digital camera.
But that's not the one. Oh my God. Sarai, yes. Help us, Sarai.
I think it's a DVD player.
Yes, that's the one. Which are the phrases and ideas that help you to choose that one? Sarai.
I don't know, teacher. I don't remember. I just know it
Like
was
in your heart, you know that it was like a DVD player. Okay, Luisa Fernanda Paredes is here to rescue us.
Teacher, I write when that the grand, I don't know, the granddaughter, I don't know, the grand.
It was like the grandson and the
to
grandmother.
to the grandmother, yeah. That when I'm ready to watch, so that is the clue. When I'm ready to watch, press that button, and when you are ready, when you want to pause, pause, press another button, and like he explained the function of DVD, the functions.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. Well, because of the on and stop it, probably that is the reason why we were in some cases of you guys like choosing a different gadget, but in specific, as Luis already explained, we were talking about the DVD player. Very good, guys. Okay, to wrap up the session, to refresh your memory a little bit of the aspects that I was telling you at the beginning, la gran mayoría ya estaba pues conectados en la sesión. When you are tired, you are tired. I'm sharing the whole screen, yes. Lo primero que hice fue como compartirles el link de la carpeta de materiales que siempre pues les comparto en cada ciclo. Igual el día de mañana les voy a enviar un correo como, digamos, también ese envío oficial. Yo les contaba cómo tener ese, no sé, esa información a más fácil acceso. Bien sabemos que cuando se acaba la sesión, se cierra el chat y no hay más que hacer. La idea también es subir acá el material de las sesiones y bueno, les contaba que además de lo que yo sé que ustedes tienen en el aula virtual, aquí coloqué como 3 ejercicios más, es solo de práctica, esto no es tarea, esto no tiene nota, no les estoy diciendo que me tienen que enviar alguna evidencia, simplemente algo más, otro poquito, por si quieren también practicar específicamente lo que estuvimos hablando el día de hoy. Para cuando lo vean, de pronto no haya preocupación, en ningún momento es tarea, simplemente es para que lo tengan ahí presente. ¿Listo? Guys, do you have any question?
No, teacher.
No, teacher, everything is clear so far. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. So once again, welcome back. See you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Take care, everybody.